Well, this is a fantasy basketball podcast, but anyone, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people would have been watching the baseball. That is the reason this show didn't come out before everyone went to bed. And as I said on Twitter, I blame Dan Besbris. What a game 7 it was. I rarely talk about baseball, so the fact that I am talking about it should tell you something. Yeah, it was very entertaining and prevented me from recording. But here we are. We are going to get these out before you wake up in the US on Sunday morning. Welcome to Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast brought to you by FanDuel and FanTrax. I am your host, Adam King. Follow me on the socials at AdamKing91. Please, the YouTube channel, Old Man Squad, go and subscribe over there. Find us on the audio platforms. Wherever you consume your podcast content, download over there. You can usually set it up so it auto-downloads, and then you don't even have to listen to it. Just set it up so it auto-downloads the episode and then delete it if you're watching along, or listen twice. Maybe you're into that kind of thing. We had 6 games on Saturday night, but let's go through some injury news first. And there wasn't a ton, which is that's always a good thing. But we'll start off with Trae Young. So we finally got some details, I suppose, about this injury. It is being reported as a knee sprain and likely out for a month. So it could be longer. Trae Young generally is a pretty good healer. He heals quite quickly. So maybe we are looking at a month here. Whatever the case, he's out for an extended period of time. There's no real moves to make here because I assume they've already been made. Dyson Daniels gets a bump. Jalen Johnson gets a bump. Keil Alexander-Walker should be rostered by now everywhere. And Luke Kennard is probably another player you want to consider. He's been a little bit inconsistent, but if he can sort of carve out a 26-minute a night role, we know that he can get threes. He can handle the ball a little bit. So maybe we do get a sort of a stretch here of top 100-ish value for Luke Kennard. Certainly not a guarantee, but those other players, obviously, they all get bumps as well. Some other injury news for the Rockets. Tomorrow, Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green are out again, so roll with Colin Gillespie if you've picked him up already. What else have we got for new injuries? Chet Holmgren, it's not a new injury, but he is out again tomorrow against the Pelicans. Now, we know the Thunder are going to be very cautious with their guys this year. They're playing, well, the Pelicans were better in their last game, but honestly, should be a pretty comfortable win for the Thunder in this one. So maybe they're being precautionary, but just, if you do have Chet, you want to get him into your IR spot. Joel Embiid is out tomorrow. This is a planned absence. It's part of his injury management plan or whatever we're calling it. So no real surprises there. Walker Kessler is the other, I guess, notable addition to the injury report. Now, he was dealing with some stuff in the preseason. He's looked good during the regular season. He's been listed as out with a shoulder bursitis. So if you know anything about bursitises, and I do, bursitises, is that a word? I don't know. A shoulder bursitis, because I have one, they don't really go away. You can have them surgically fixed. They tend to just linger and they need to be managed a little bit. Mine doesn't bother me at all, but I don't play NBA basketball. When I was playing basketball, it would flare up from time to time, but it can be managed. So hopefully this is just a one-game absence for him and nothing too significant. Now, in terms of who are we adding, there's a few different ways the Jazz could go here. They could move Kyle Filipowski into the starting center role. Now, he's been starting. He's been not doing a lot. But if he starts at center, he probably is someone to consider picking up if he's been dropped. Obviously, if they do a 1-for-1 here, they'll bring Yusuf Nurkic in. He has been pretty good off the bench, not playing enough to be rostered, but he's been producing in limited minutes. So maybe Nurkic gets a start. And if so, on a 6-game, no, not 6-game. How many games are there tomorrow? Let's have a look. Where are we? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games. Okay, so probably some streaming capability tomorrow. So, yeah, look, maybe it's Yusuf Nurkic. Give him a look. You could probably wait. They do play early. So, yeah, they're in Charlotte. So it is a 6 p.m. Eastern tip. So just keep an eye on the injury report. But Nurkic, if he can get 26, 28 minutes, we know that he can be a double-double kind of player. He can get you a couple of assists and maybe a steal. So keep an eye on him. Ja Morant was also suspended basically for just being a douche. So nothing new here with Ja Morant. With him out, I don't know. They're sort of clutching at straws already, aren't they? John Concha, maybe. Cedric Howard plays a bit more. Aldama probably plays a bit more. They don't really have a lot of point guards. I guess Cam Spencer might get a look. But Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen, they're out. Javon Small is floating around. Maybe they look at him, or maybe they just sort of play Contavious Caldwell-Pope as a makeshift point guard and get the ball in Jalen Wells' hands a little bit. Cedric Howard starts, or does Aldama start? I don't know. There's a lot of options here. So hopefully we can get word on that starting lineup early. Now, they also tip early tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern in Toronto. So we should hopefully, there is an early game tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That is the Pelicans and the Thunder. So we may not have clarity then, but given this is an injury that we're already fully aware of and or a suspension, they may announce that starting lineup early. So fingers crossed. All right, let's get into the games. That's enough of the injury reports. All right, let's bring it up. All right, the Sacramento Kings, they do get the win. It was the Bucks sort of got out early in this one. This was an early-ish game for us here in Australia. So, yeah, I got to watch a lot of it. And the Bucks, they started red hot. I think they had 47 points, I want to say, in the first quarter. Looked like everything was going to plan. And then they forgot to play defense, and the Kings ended up winning 135 to 133. So obviously not a lot of defense at all. For the Kings, it was their 4 main guys. I guess Dennis Schroeder, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis all had really nice games. Cardwell started 5 minutes. Don't worry about him. Keon Ellis, 16 minutes. He did have 2 steals, but there is no reason at all to be holding on to him or Nick Clifford. Russell Westbrook had 12 points with 10 assists in his 33 minutes. So he's just basically soaking up all of the 6-man minutes at the moment. Shot poorly, didn't hit a 3. But yeah, look, other than that, I mean, a double-double from Westbrook, you'll take that. A couple of steals, didn't miss a free throw. So if he's going to play this role, he probably should be rostered, as unappealing as he is. For the Bucks, like I said, let's just scroll that down. There we go. For the Bucks, yes. So no Kevin Porter Jr. for a month minimum. We're probably looking at 6 weeks. Ryan Rollins, 16 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Fantastic. I know the threshold, I suppose, for Rollins has gone up significantly in the last week, but this is a great game for him. AJ Green also had 17 points and 4 threes. So he's an interesting stream kind of guy. Giannis was a little bit quiet in this one early, got going late, finished with 26 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and 9 of 14 from the line. That's about right. Gary Trent had 17 points. He's another 3-point streamer. You hope that you catch him on the right night. Miles Turner, let's talk about him for 30 seconds. Do we need to? He didn't do much. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 24 minutes. I don't know. I mean, he's not a drop, obviously, but it's not looking great. I'm still confident he'll be better than this, but yeah, it's been pretty frustrating if you have him. They went with, as you can see here, they went with Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, sort of just mixed it up a bit. Portis Portis started this game quite well, except for a tech foul he picked up for whatever reason. He just walked up and pushed him onto Sabonis in the back. Had his crazy eyes going. He hit some threes and sort of kept them close. And then Kuzma got hot late. He had 22 points with absolutely nothing else. Don't rush out to pick up Kyle Kuzma based on this performance, please. All right. Oh, that one didn't go right. There we go. Minnesota and the Charlotte Hornets. Pretty comfortable win for the Timberwolves here. The Hornets, I don't know. Without Brandon Miller, this was my concern. I talked about this early in the season, like whenever last week or when Brandon Miller went down. They started the season quite well. My concern is once they lose Brandon Miller, do the results start to turn? And if so, what happens with injuries and things like that? LaMelo Ball popped up on the injury report, but he did play in this one, so that's a good sign. But they have lost a few now. I was hoping they could sort of stay at 500 until Brandon Miller is back. I'm not convinced they can, but I'm not giving up just yet. Let's start with the Timberwolves, though. Julius Randle, his very strong start to the season continues, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, shot the ball well. Yeah, sell high, potentially. I mean, I think any knowledgeable manager will know that Anthony Edwards is out. Obviously, that helps. And we just know who Julius Randle is at this point. So while these numbers are fantastic, I think he's going to be tough to sell high. If you could move him for a top 50 player, I'd probably do it. Any higher, of course, I'd do it, but I'm not sure you'll be able to. Mike Conley had 10 points with 6 assists and a steal in 29 minutes. He's probably worth just picking up as your sort of 12th, 13th player. He'll get you some assists, he'll get you some steals, and he'll get you some threes. That's really all you're going to get from him, but the minutes are there at the moment because Anthony Edwards is out and they don't really want to play their bench. DiVincenzo had 18 points with 4 assists, a steal, 5 threes. So this is what we want from DiVincenzo. McDaniels had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and a good go-bear game as well. 14, 15, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Now, of course, this did come against the Hornets, who have Ryan Kalkbrenner at center. And nothing against him. I love Ryan Kalkbrenner, but he's obviously very young. Coming up against someone like a Gobert is always going to be a tough matchup. And not much off the bench there other than, Naz Reid, 18 points, sure. I'm not rushing to grab him. I've seen him dropped in a couple of my leagues. Maybe if I'm desperate for points, I will. But the production is good, 18 points. But 3 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 1 assist. He played 22 minutes. I don't know. It's not trending very well or trending in the right direction. Anyway, the Hornets, as I said, we did get LaMelo Ball playing and played 33 minutes. So hopefully that's an indication that this was more precautionary than anything. But do keep an eye on the injury report, of course. He had 18 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. He's been really good. The shooting is going to be, we know what it's going to be, but he's been good. Sexton had 9 points in his 20 minutes. He's a back-end sort of hold at the moment until Brandon Miller is back. Miles Bridges, 30 points. So it's his best game of the season, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Knepel, he's struggling a little bit, 5 points, 8 rebounds. Again, he's probably a hold just because of the playing time. And Kalkbrenner had only 6 points in this one with 6 rebounds, but he did have 4 blocks. So, the 29 minutes is probably the most encouraging part or aspect of this line here. The fact that he is sort of playing starters minutes now is encouraging because we thought that this might be a minute split situation, but he seems to have pushed himself well ahead of Moussa Diabate. Diabate had 11 and 9 in his 19 minutes. And Trae Mann, he did this last season, 16 points, 5 assists. He can do this in limited minutes. So if you just need guard stats, he's going to be playing sort of minutes in the low to mid 20s, I think. So he's not a bad streaming candidate. The Orlando Magic, comfortable win over the Washington Wizards. This is more what we expected from the Wizards, isn't it? 125-94. Wagner, Banchero, fine. Favourable matchup as well. Wendell Carter, 16-10 with 2 blocks. He continues to do enough to be rostered, so make sure he is rostered. Jalen Suggs had 5 steals, 5 assists. This is what we thought he would do coming into the season. He would get you some assists, he would get you some steals, and he would get you some threes. Now, he was 0 of 7 from 3 in this one, but the other numbers are fine. Desmond Bane, 5 points. He has been bad as well. I wasn't super high on him coming into the season. I sort of bumped him down around because of just where he's playing now. I sort of have him as a top 50, top 60 player. So he's obviously going to be a lot better than he has been. And it is a buy low opportunity. But I wouldn't be offering a top 40 player for him or anything like that. I'd be offering, it could be someone that's in the top 40, but they're not going to be in that range rest of season. So, I'd view Desmond Bane as a top 50 player, top 60. So that's sort of what you want to be offering at best. And off the bench, Goga Bitadze, probably his best game of the season. He had 3 blocks with his 15 points. Again, it's against the Wizards, so make of it what you will. 20 minutes. If he was going to get 20 minutes every night, maybe you'd have to look at him. But he just hasn't been producing. The minutes have been inconsistent, so I'm not concerning myself too much with him at the moment. For the Wizards, let's get that up there. Chris Middleton. I popped something up on Twitter during this game, just talking about, is he washed? Is he done? And a few people actually said we're well past that point, and they could be right. 6 points, 20 minutes, 2 assists. Doesn't look super interested, which, I don't know, do you blame him? Although, he's a professional, as far as I know. Is he a drop? Probably. I don't think his upside is high enough. We know what he can do, but we haven't seen it for so long that I don't think you need to be holding on to him. He's cooled down a little bit of late, but still 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks on 4 of 8 shooting. I think you take that. The offense is a little bit underwhelming, but everything else is okay. CJ McCollum, another player I don't think he's as washed as Chris Middleton or as disinterested as Chris Middleton. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. It's not terrible, but he's not a drop, but I would just temper expectations on him. Koulibaly had 10 points, had a steal and a block, but that first game that we saw him come back was obviously not sustainable. 3 of 10 from the field here, 0 of 2 from 3, 4 of 6 from the line. So this is what you get with Koulibaly. You take the good with the bad, and then at the end of the season, it all sort of ends up in the middle somewhere. Keyshawn George had 17 points. He had a block. He had 3 rebounds. Those peripherals are a little bit underwhelming here, but when the rest of your team is playing like trash, the assist numbers are obviously going to be down a little bit. And do we need to talk about the bench? Not really. Bub Carrington, if you were holding him, move on. Cam Whitmore, no, I'm fine. Trae Johnson, I guess, is probably the intriguing one here. And I think if you wanted to hold any of the guys on this bench, he would be the one that I'd be holding. But just be prepared for some ups and downs. All right, the Warriors and the Pacers. Good win for the Pacers and another bad loss for the Warriors. So they lost to the Bucks without Giannis 2 days ago, I think. And they go down here to the Pacers, who are basically running out a G League squad. Let's start with the Warriors. Curry. This is why I wasn't as high on him this season. We've started to see some cracks in his armor. 24 points is still fine, but 8 of 23 from the field, 4 of 16 from 3, and not much else. 0 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And if you remember back to, we're probably going back 3 years now, or 4 years even with Steph. One of the appeals of him in terms of fantasy value was the fact that he was efficient. He scored a lot of points, shot a lot of threes, but he was efficient. He was up around 50%. We still get those performances, but we also get these bad ones, which we didn't used to get. Podziemski is starting to look better, 16 points for him. I think we have to roster him. Jimmy Butler's fine. Kuminga, we hold him until later in the season and we see what happens. Draymond Green, if you're punting points, perfect. Hold on to him. And then, Al Horford. I don't think we need to be holding Al Horford here. Quentin Post, who's had some moments. No, I'm okay. Buddy Hield, God, no. And Moses Moody, who supposedly was in for a big role and was going to start, and all of this stuff from Steve Kerr coming into the season, and he played 16 minutes off the bench. So I'm not interested in him either. For the Pacers, good win. Any win's good at this point, isn't it? Quentin Jackson had 25 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. We saw snippets of this last season from him. I've had some questions. Do we go and add him? Sure, if you want to. They're basically just throwing poop at the wall, seeing what sticks. So given he played so well here, he probably starts the next game. And if he's terrible, he might get one more game, but then they might have a look at Ray J. Dennis or, Mac McClung might come in at some point. So for now, sure, if you want to give Quentin Jackson a look. Jarris Walker had 6 points. I'm probably holding him. He does look to be a starter moving forward, and the minutes are good enough. Neesmith had 31 points. Again, we've seen this from him. He gets hot from 3 and puts up these high sort of scoring nights and then goes back to sort of not really doing much. So, but he's a hold again, starting. Isaiah Jackson had 10 points with 8 rebounds and a block in 21 minutes. Now, the last game he played 26 minutes or 27. He was in early foul trouble here. He picked up 2 fouls in about 3 minutes. So there is a chance that this would have been another 26 to 28 minute performance. He was sort of flirting with a double-double here, didn't miss a free throw. So I think maybe the time is now to go and pick him up and just see if they're going to stick with him, because Jay Huff is certainly not coming for his minutes. Tony Bradley, he played 18 here, but I don't think he's coming for his minutes either. Johnny Furphy returned. He had 5 points and 2 steals. Look, it's really hard to pinpoint anyone on this roster. But at the moment, I'd probably go with Jarris Walker, Quentin Jackson, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Neesmith, and Isaiah Jackson. The 5 starters in this game are all worth a look. All right, let's go to the next game, which was the Rockets and the Celtics. But before we do, of course, I'll remind you that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Lots of odds. Yeah, I check in on these. I can't bet on them here in Australia, I don't think, but I check on them just to see what's shifting and not obviously over one day, not much changes. I keep an eye on those Rookie of the Year. The over-unders are always interesting. The Thunder are still favourites to sort of win the most games this season. I'm not so sure. I know they're undefeated at the moment, but I feel like they're probably not as invested in that this year. I think they've got their title. They were the best team last season. This season, I think, is more about just staying healthy, getting into the playoffs. They'll obviously be probably a 1 or a 2 seed, 3 at worst. But it wouldn't surprise me if a team like the Houston Rockets I'm not sure they can win the championship, Houston. They probably think they do. But if they could get that number 1 seed, I think that would put them in a good position. So they're at plus 1,600 at the moment. So maybe you want to get some money on there. Anyway, head over to sportsbook.fanduel.com. Lay those bets on. Onto that next game, the Rockets, just talking about them, and the Celtics. Comfortable win for the Rockets. Boston, they sort of stuck with them a little bit. But in the end, Houston were just far too good, 128 to 101. They were able to limit their minutes a little bit for the starters. They still had Thompson on in the fourth quarter, despite the fact they were up by more than 20. So maybe they could have eased off a little bit. For fantasy, it was great. Thompson had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. No defensive stats. Everything else really good. Josh Okogie continues to start. He had 12 points with a steal. He's sort of a streamer, but He's starting, but he's not playing starters minutes, so you don't have to prioritize him. Durant was fine. Jabari Smith had 4 blocks, 12 points. He's such an interesting player. He flashes this upside, and you think, man, this guy could be really good. And then he just sort of vanishes a little bit. Part of that is just that he's surrounded by such a talented roster. But yeah, we see bits and pieces. But I think he just needs so many injuries to actually step into that alpha role. So it's not going to happen. But in saying that, certainly worth rostering. Şengün had 16 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. He was in the game late as well, but I think he was looking for that triple-double. Didn't get it, and they got him out of there with a few minutes to go. Reed Shepherd, only 17 minutes, 12 points, 3 assists, 4 threes. He's not dropping him yet, but I wouldn't blame you if you did, because he's just not playing enough. He's probably sort of topping out at about 22 minutes, 23 minutes most nights, a little bit matchup dependent. Tari Eason had 12 points with a block, 6 rebounds, 20 minutes. Again, this playing time is a little bit hard to read into because this game was a blowout. So, yeah, I'm not sort of making any significant moves based off this game. Steven Adams had probably one of his poorer games, only 14 minutes. They even rolled Clint Capella out there for 18 minutes. So I think this is their way of managing Steven Adams a little bit, because Clint Capella hadn't come close to playing 18 minutes. So this is sort of an off night that's not an off night for Steven Adams. For the Celtics, Josh Minot watch. So I would ignore the minutes to some degree. He played 19 of them, but as you can see, Jaylen Brown played 21, Neemias Queta played 15, Derek White played 19. So they were just rolling anyone out there during this game. So I'm not too concerned about the minutes here for Minot. He had 10 points, he had 6 rebounds, he had 2 steals. So he's doing what we need him to do. I would hold on to him. Queta, likewise, 9 points, 4 rebounds. No blocks in this one, but he has been good enough to roster, and I'm not dropping him based on this one. Chris Boucher is just a waste of space at this point. And, yeah, I mean, Luka Garza, I was intrigued by him coming into the season, but he's done nothing. We're not holding on to him. Sam Hauser, very up and down, 3-point streamer, nothing else. Baylor Shireman, he had 17 points in this one. He'd done nothing all season. This came out of nowhere. He hit 4 of 5 threes. He can do this, but it's very inconsistent. If you want to stream him in and see if he can stay hot, sure. But I have little to no faith that that is going to happen. All right, and the final game of the night, as I have a drink. Build the suspense. The Dallas Mavericks and the Detroit Pistons in Mexico. The Pistons... This was back and forth close, which was always good for fantasy because the main guys stay on the court. 122 to 110. The Pistons walk away with that victory. Let's start with the Mavericks. So no Anthony Davis. He, as we know, is out for at least a couple of games. No Derek Lively, but Daniel Gafford returned. He was on a minutes restriction of, I think they said like 18 to 20 minutes or something. He played 17 minutes. 7 points, 4 rebounds, no blocks. Not his best game, but just good to have him out there. And as long as he can stay healthy and he ramps up, he's going to be worth rostering because, I mean, Anthony Davis could be out for longer. We don't know how long Derek Lively's out. So make sure Gafford's not floating around. PJ Washington, not a good game for him, but we know the PJ Washington storyline. Klay Thompson had 11 points. Surely no one's rostering him. Max Christie, he's been all right. He's really just a 3-point streamer, but he does sort of other things. He'll get you a steal now and then. He had 5 assists in this one. I don't mind him as a back ender. Cooper Flagg had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. The field goal percentage is woeful, but we knew that coming into the season. 3 of 14. And obviously with no Anthony Davis here, he's just being tasked with doing too much at the moment, I think. And as you can see, no one really played well here, except for this guy, D'Angelo Russell, who had 31 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. I think he's probably been picked up. I held him in one league. I'm pretty glad I did at the moment. He played 30 minutes off the bench, so he's still not starting, but he's playing starters minutes. So I think if he's available, you go and pick him up and see where this goes. I do still like Brandon Williams. He had 12 points with 1 steal in his 17 minutes. This could be a situation where they just go with whoever's got the hot hand, whoever's impacting the game. So it could be Brandon Williams for the next one. Could be D'Angelo Russell. I'd go with Russell over Williams, though, if we're talking about fantasy hierarchy there. And for the Pistons, let's get this up there. Duncan Robinson, 3 threes, 18 points, 34 minutes. He is a good streamer / hold kind of back-end soft hold player. Cade had 21 points with 18 assists and 3 steals. I don't know how many of those assists came to Jalen Duren, but I would say it's a pretty high percentage. Jalen Duren had 33 points with 10 rebounds and a block, 13 of 16 from the field. There were a lot of dunks in this game, which he gets a lot of dunks anyway. But yeah, it was a bit of a cakewalk for him. 15 points for Asar Thompson to go with his 7 rebounds, only 1 assist, but he did have 2 steals as well. So he is rounding nicely into some form. The beginning of the season was a little bit up and down, but I think he's locked in now at close to 30 minutes a night and playing well. Tobias Harris had 11.6 rebounds. He did leave this game with an ankle injury, but he was obviously able to return. He's a hold, but his upside is basically 0. Isaiah Stewart, 10 points for him with 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. He's second in the league in blocks, I believe, at the moment. So he's a nice back-end center or a streamer. I'm holding him in a couple of leagues because of my punt build, because he gets rebounds, he gets blocks, and he's efficient enough. And so as long as he's playing 20-ish minutes, then I'm happy to hold him. And he actually shared the floor with Jalen Duren a bit in this one, so that's interesting. Ron Holland, who'd been playing well, he had 2 steals to go with 2 points. He's fine if you want to take a chance on him, but Jaden Ivey will come back at some point and mess a lot of this up. So, I don't think he's someone you have to prioritize. Alrighty, that will do for the 6 games. As I said, 8 games tomorrow, starting early. So check those lineups and check the injury replacements, the Walker Kessler one, the Ja Morant replacement as well. Have a look for some streaming targets on your last day. Remember, check your standings. Check your matchup. Have a look at what categories are close and sort of stream accordingly. See what you need, see what you don't need. You may be in a position to bench some players if you're looking at percentages or turnovers, those sorts of things. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Dan will be back with the recap shows for the week. I will be doing a waiver wire show early in the week, the 2 mailbags on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, US time, if that's what we're sort of basing it on, and probably doing an industry pickup recap as well at some point early in the week. I'm not sure who that will be with yet, but I will figure it out. That'll do. I'm going to get out of here. Reminder to go and subscribe to the Old Man Squad YouTube channel and find all of our shows on the audio platforms. Download those. Set that download reminder or the automatic thing so it just does it for you and you don't have to think about it. I like not thinking. I'm Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.